Hi, my name is Saranam Mark Greenberg. I'm a spiritual healer in Mount Shasta, California. And in this video, I'm going to talk about shame, fear, self-judgment, and self-hatred, repressed emotions, and what you can do to move them. Obviously, this is a big subject, and I'm just giving an introduction in this video and a few tips that can actually take you a long way towards moving those emotions. The reason I'm using that word moving rather than healing or clearing is because emotions usually do take some time to move. They don't, you can't just push them out usually immediately. You kind of have to breathe into them, be with that part of yourself that originally felt the hurt or the shame or the fear that caused the emotion to get stuck. So before I go into actual techniques, let me talk a little bit about the energy bodies, you might say the metaphysical anatomy that we're working with here. Besides, everyone I think is used to having a sense of a feeling being stuck in some part of their body. So at the level of the physical body, there is what's called an etheric double, or some people call it a pranic body. There's an energy body that right at skin level, it pretty much is a duplicate, an energetic image of the physical body. And of course, that pranic body assists in energizing the physical body, maintaining the physical body, does a lot of things like that. Outside of that body, just outside of that body, now we're not at skin level. Now we're talking about a kind of a toroidal field, like a luminous egg that surrounds the body, but it's the first layer in, it's the closest to the pranic body and the physical body, is the emotional body. Okay, the emotional body is the field that is circulating the closest to the physical body. The problem is that most of us, almost everyone, even if you have nice parents, get a lot of emotional repression in childhood. It's just required to fit in to our society. You can't express whatever you're feeling as a child. You see very little children doing that. They'll go from crying to laughing in one instant. Whatever emotion is coming up, they'll just express it. Their emotional bodies are circulating, they're moving. But very soon you learn that you just can't do that. You're not allowed to do that. And certain emotions and aspects of yourself start getting repressed and stuck. That's in a normal family. That's without any trauma or abuse. Just normal childhood upbringing causes a lot of self-repression. And so then things start getting stuck. And when emotions get stuck, it also kind of freezes or disrupts the circulation of the emotional body. And now it's the whole that's a toroidal field is not circulating in the same way because the emotions are not being allowed to circulate. They're being held, they're stuck, they're repressed. They're not allowed to express, basically. So so that's a big issue with stuck or repressed emotions, is just allowing them to express, just giving them a voice, which also acknowledges them and it gives them a sense of acceptance, the things that they didn't have when they were repressed. Let's talk about normal childhood upbringing. Beyond that body, there are other bodies, mental bodies, causal bodies, et cetera, astral bodies. But we're just going to focus on the emotional body because it is this one that's closest to the physical body. And when you get that emotional body circulating, you start feeling a lot more energy because it's closest to the pranic body and the physical body, and so it stimulates them, and really you get a lot more energy. And so in normal childhood upbringing, this is very early childhood. Okay, around the time you're learning to speak, you're also learning what you can and can't do. Some things will actually get you punished, but other things will just cause mom or dad to, frown or withhold their love. And so you start getting associations between love and self-repression. If you do some things, mom and dad will love you and you feel like a good boy or a good girl. You do other things and you feel not, you don't get the love, you feel like a bad boy or a bad girl, and you start repressing, you start hiding, you start using your will essentially to block the expression of certain natural or authentic aspects of yourself. And these tend to be the more intuitive feeling aspects. It's the rational mind that fits in better in our world. And even in early childhood before school, that's what the parents are preparing you for. And so most people I work with, almost everyone, gets this association between love and self-repression. There's an association between the heart chakra and a restricted or shielded or contracted solar plexus or will center. And then that solar plexus, which is the will aspect, instead of coming out to kind of deal with the world in front of you out in front, it's held in very close, and it's learned to use that energy to suppress and to hide and to guard these aspects of the self that we're not allowed to express in childhood. They're still held there. They're still stuck there, and sometimes that can actually give people physical issues in that area from the emotions being held or stuck there for so long. That's just normal childhood. Then a lot of people experience traumas in childhood. The parents might be abusive. There might be physical violence. There may be sexual abuse or violation. And these create, kind of extreme places that are held, a lot of fear. The first reaction in any of those traumatic situations where there is either violence or, violation, where some other person's will, who is bigger and stronger than you, is overpowering you one way or another, there's fear. Fear is, of course, the first feeling that's at the core there. You're afraid, and you don't expect it. You're just being yourself. You're just naturally being yourself, and you get this extreme reaction from someone much bigger and stronger than you, either violence or in sexual violation in that case. Either way, it feels like violence. It feels like a violation. It feels like, your energy field has been violated. And so fear is the core feeling there. And if you go back into that feeling, that's what comes up again, is the fear associated with, whatever was the circumstance that happened. But then, as it gets held, and especially, if it's not allowed to express with an abusive parent, you can't express your feelings because you usually just get more abuse. Same thing with a perpetrator. They'll often tell the child, something terrible is going to happen if they tell anyone. And so there's this fear and even the ability to express the trauma, to move the emotions, is blocked because there's a fear of some repercussion. So this causes, an extreme holding. Usually these feelings are held in the lower abdomen. So I keep pointing down here. It's usually held in the lower abdomen. Usually they're held more on the left side. The feelings of repression are more on the left side. The feelings associated with violation or dealing with, oppressive or intrusive energy is usually more on the right side, the lower right side of the abdomen. These are just the areas you can look for. So those are, how they get there. Okay, so then what do you do to move them? That's the big issue. So again, when you're dealing with emotions, you have to be very gentle with yourself. It's really like you're working with your child self. So as if you're working with a little child, you just want to feel into those areas where, if you know where they are, if you're feeling, physical pain, for example, that could be a sign that there's a stuck emotion there. You can just tune into that area, really try to drop in. So you're not just thinking about that area, but you're really moving your center of awareness into that part of your body, feeling the feeling that is held there. I'm just using the lower left abdomen as an example. Pretty much if you go down there, you will find something. So feeling into that area, just putting your center of awareness there. And then if you feel a feeling, whatever it is, you without thinking about it, just give that feeling a voice. Just make a sound. Whatever sound comes out of your body, you're just feeling into the feeling and making a sound. It could be a moan, it could be a cry, it could be a scream, so make sure you have a safe space where you can release whatever is the sound associated with that emotion. It's not a healing sound. If you're trying to make some healing sound to heal that emotion, then you're in your head. You don't want to do that. You want to just get into the feeling of the emotion and feel what the emotion says. What is the emotion sound? And let that come out through your voice. Just that simple technique of giving the emotion or the feeling a voice, well, it does two things. First, it acknowledges and accepts the emotion. If you're willing to give it a voice, then you're acknowledging this feeling, and also you're allowing it to express. So you're giving it the expression that was blocked when it got stuck there. That's the main thing that causes feelings or emotions to get stuck in the first place, is that they're not allowed to express. You're not allowed to express them as a child. So you're now as an adult, now you can be your own parent. You're allowing that emotion to express, and you're doing that at a level that's below the conscious level. You're just letting it make a sound. That as simple as that. Breathing in, feeling, making a sound. So you can accentuate or enhance this technique by using your breath at the same time to also draw some energy in there. So I have a lot of videos about working with the energy from the earth and opening up the root chakra to draw that energy up into the lower abdomen. If for some reason you're feeling blocked about connecting to the earth, which is often the case if there's sexual trauma, because that's right in that same area and will often cause great distrust of opening in that area. If that's the case, you can open your crown chakra. Usually, most people I work with are comfortable opening the crown chakra and connecting from their heart to the sun. The sun is a living being. You know what it is. It's one that I certainly trust. It's a clear conduit of divine light in my experience. So when you connect to the sun, there's something you can trust, a being you can trust. You can bring that divine light in. So that's, that divine light, it's not just coming from the sun, it's coming from the source of creation. Through the sun, you can bring it in. So either bring it up from the earth or bring it down from the sun. Use your breath on the in-breath or the inhale, bring that light into whatever area where you're feeling the emotion, and just allow that light to expand. So it's as simple as that. You're just drawing the light in to the area where you're feeling discomfort or emotion and allowing it to expand. So when you bring that presence of divine light, divine love is also in that presence. Love and power are both in that presence of divine light. And you allow it to expand, let's say in the lower abdomen, bringing that into the lower abdomen, or you can be drawing it up from the earth into the lower abdomen and just allow it to expand. It's sort of illuminating that area. And you'll find that areas where you have held emotions, where there's deep fear or shame or self-judgment or self-hatred, the light won't go there. It'll show you, oh, look, here's an area that's not receiving the light because, it's not feeling worthy, basically, to receive it. So that will help you to tune in to exactly where the stuck energy is, where the stuck emotions or repressed emotions are, just breathing some light into that area. And then again, when you identify, oh, here's one right here, just put your attention there, put your awareness there, feel the emotion, and let it make a sound through your voice. Whatever sound comes out, just keep doing that, bringing the light in, breathing in, and then just giving the emotion a sound or a voice. And you'll find if you keep doing that, one emotion after another or one feeling after another, they'll start to move. You don't have to move them. They just do it on their own. Because once they're acknowledged and they're allowed to express, they can start circulating in the emotional body. That's all they need to do to start moving, and either they'll integrate into your emotional body or they'll leave out of your emotional body. They'll just leave out. And either way, that process starts unfreezing the emotional body. And after you start doing this with several different emotions, they might be in other parts of your body. The lower abdomen is a big place. Another place is the heart, both the front and the back of the heart. That's an area that usually gets a lot of hurt and fear. those are also areas you can bring, just breathe in, let the heart expand, and you'll feel where it's pushing up some resistance, some area that's not receiving that energy. Those are the feelings to tune into. Just breathe into them and let them make a sound, and then they will just start to move on their own. And then you'll start to have an experience. For me, it was the first time in my life I ever felt what it felt like to have my emotional body actually circulating. I felt so much more energy because we all get, we're living in a dysfunctional world where we're all walking around with these crippled emotional bodies that have been disrupted and frozen, not just through trauma, but even just through normal childhood conditioning. And so it's like a new experience that you could actually have this much energy just from allowing your body to circulate the way it was intended to. It's blocked, in our world, it's blocked from early childhood. So that's a simple technique I'm sharing with you, just an introduction to working with the emotions, working with shame, fear, self-judgment, self-hatred. Usually fear is at the core of all of these emotions. If you get down to it, you'll find fear was the original feeling. And then over time, it became shame as, you repeatedly push down that feeling or that part of yourself because it wasn't fitting in. And then shame can lead to self-judgment, or I mean to self-hatred. So shame or self-judgment can lead to self-hatred. That's what happens as a child when, there's some part of you that is persistently wanting to express. But every time it's getting you into trouble. It's not working. It's not being accepted by anyone around you. And so you're like, oh, please, stop, just go away, just go away. Basically you start hating that part of yourself because it keeps getting you into trouble. There is nothing wrong with that part of yourself. That is a beautiful, authentic aspect of yourself. It's really desiring expression. It was the teachings that were wrong. It was the judgments of society that came through your parents that told you that you could not express that feeling that was wrong. Now, as an adult, you can find a way to express it. You definitely can, within limits. These are things that are not involving harming other people, obviously. So, within your own field of self-expression. But anyway, so I'm just opening that up because it comes up with every single person I work with, and so I just wanted to address these just this simple basic technique for working with emotions, moving the emotions, moving especially the deeply held, the frozen, the blocked, the repressed emotions, and let me know what happens with that, and if you need more help, of course, I'm always available. You can reach out to me at my website, which is www.saranam.us. That's SARANAM.us. I look forward to hearing from you. Okay, many blessings on your path. Bye-bye.